A ceasefire has just been declared between Israel and Iran. And of course, the propaganda machine of the Iranian regime is working extra hard to make it look like the Israelis have begged for a ceasefire. Which, of course, if you're paying attention, none of it is true. No one from each side, Israel or Iran, have asked for the ceasefire. This is the intervention of Donald Trump. Again, thinking he knows better from everyone else and could intervene in a conflict based on religion and different cultures. Now, I got a lot of respect for the Americans, but there is one thing that they are lacking of, and it's the understanding of other cultures, specifically cultures that have been around for thousands of years. They have no grasp of the ideology behind and the DNA of the people from those type of cultures. After that many years of those type of culture being in existence, it's almost like it's in their genetic makeup. And of course, America's connection to religion is becoming weaker as we go, and never in their history they made a decision, for example, to go to war based on religion. My opinion always was that America need to stay away from the Middle East. If they want to do business in the Middle East, that's one thing, but to try to control it and change or affect its culture, not only it will not work, that will only create hatred. So of course, as predicted, Donald Trump came out with a few tweets where he's saying that the USA is the first brave nation to strike Iran. Really? And of course, the B-2 strikes that claim damage that not only haven't been confirmed, but doubtly achieved. And even if it was achieved, those incoming strikes are not a surprise for anyone. So 400 kilograms of enriched uranium is now in the wind. And a ceasefire will give the Iranians the opportunity to not only have better storage and facilities, but to also be better prepared for strikes in the future. They will tighten up the security, their defenses, their infrastructures, and their fortifications. As more hours passed by from that ceasefire, we are losing the element of surprise to actually do something useful. Now, in order to understand the potential of what could have become from the Middle East, all we need is a little bit of imagination. Imagine a Middle East where terrorist groups have no support other than themselves. There is no centralized terror cell, which was Iran, to provide money, training, but most importantly, a religious justification to your terror acts and therefore conform your ideology. They will be cut off, like a teenage kid that been thrown out from his rich parents' house, and now he need to fend for himself. Now, I'm not sure what's gonna come next. I hope that Israel have been planning for this, for a ceasefire that will be pushed by America, and they have some infrastructure in Iran to keep tabs on what the Iranian regime is gonna try to do next, and especially about the nuclear project. But at this point, this is only wishful thinking. The bad scenario is if Israel actually bought into the ceasefire and Iran will be allowed to collect themselves. Because one thing I know about the Iranian culture is that they have a really long memory and patience. So if Israel fell into the deception of this ceasefire, they should not be surprised if they will be suddenly attacked by thousands of missiles that the Iranian regime has collected to try to finish the Israel idea once and for all. Of course, even then, I don't think they will be successful, but the damage will be huge and more innocent lives will perish. And all because of a guy that think he knows what he's doing, trying to control stuff that way beyond his control, trying to be involved in cultures that way beyond his understanding. This type of behavior by the American government is not something new. This is something that we saw before in Afghanistan, Iraq, Vietnam, and all it did was creating chaos. Now back to the imagination. If the Iranian regime would fall, you would be left with a bunch of terrorist groups. But with time, they will starve, they will have no support, and they will be much easier to deal with, especially between themselves. Because in the end of the day, if you're not getting your paycheck and you can't support your family, or even yourself for that matter, that will limit the people that want to join that type of organization to the true fundamentalists that thrive on crazy ideals, that willing to put everything aside in order to be a terrorist. Not the opportunistic people that just want to take part in chaos and destruction, which is a lot of them. I think that a true opportunity has been missed here. I think in order to play the role of diplomatic solutions for an ongoing conflict, Israel should have eliminated the supreme leader of Iran moments before the ceasefire started. In that way, everyone would have seen what a headless chicken looks like while running around all crazy and without purpose. That would have exposed the Iranian regime weakness and would have present an opportunity for a regime change and to the Persian people to take what's theirs. There is no crying on a spilled milk. I truly hope that Israel have something planned and they saw the ceasefire coming. Because if not only it's a missed opportunity, we will all be dealing with more sophisticated Iran, and if it's possible, even more hateful towards the West and towards everyone who is not a Shiite Muslim. Although even this will not stop them of killing Shiite Muslims if it will serve the purpose of killing an infidel. Unbelievable. While editing this video, Iran has broken the ceasefire by shooting a single missile into Israel. Israel responded by sending jets to bomb more targets in Iran. I took a break from editing because I wanted to see the international response. What Iran will say, what Israel will say, and especially what Trump will say. And man, that guy did not disappoint. As if to prove my point, the outrageous attitude that the guy has towards this conflict and the visible lack of understanding of the conflict between Israel and Iran is a little bit overwhelming, and that deserves a whole video in of itself where I'm gonna break down what he said and try to show the lack of understanding on the subject. A few hours later, he actually posted a nomination by a Congress member, I think, for him to get the Nobel Peace Prize. Which, by the way, he did not achieve peace. He achieved a ceasefire, which by definition means that you are still at war. Anyway, the situation is just ridiculous.
You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?